I'm here to talk about being in the top 1% of OnlyFans or being in the sub 1% of OnlyFans and what that's actually like compared to what people might think it's like. I'm sure if you think of OnlyFans, you think of, titty pics and earning lots of money and not doing very much work and just how unfair that is. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. It actually takes a ton of work. It takes work every single day, pretty much all day, and you can't stop, because if you stop, you'll lose subscribers and you'll lose followers and you'll lose income. So it's continuous and it's hard, and anyone who's ever tried will know that it's hard. The reason you are top 1% or less than 1% is because 99% of the platform under you who are earning less than you, and that is quite a significant drop. Like the 0.00%, like the 0.01% are earning millions, and then it kind of drops from there. If you're in the top 1%, you're earning six figures usually. If you're in the top 3%, you're earning four figures. If you're in the top 5%, you're earning $1,000 a week. And if you're in the top 10%, you're earning even less than that, under $1,000 per week. It's quite a dramatic shift. I think most creators on OnlyFans only earn $150 a month, which is nothing. So, it's kind of hard to actually make that a job. You have to work really hard, and it's only a certain amount of people that can actually make it. Just the same with Twitch streaming and being a YouTuber. Only a certain amount of people become successful at it, because it really relies on your content, what you put out, if people like you, if they like your personality, how you treat them once they're subscribed. It's really difficult, and it's not just as easy as it might seem. I asked you guys to ask me some questions, and I've got them here. All the questions were amazing, bar two maybe. And I'm gonna answer them now and see if this gives more of an insight into what it's like to be a top creator. How long did it take for you to realize that this job actually pays the bills? I would say I realized when I had to get an accountant, because I was earning more than my country's minimum amount to pay taxes, and I didn't understand. I could have worked it out, but I could get an accountant and I could afford an accountant. And that's when I realized, maybe this is actually a viable option. Maybe this is a real job. In terms of a timeline, I'd say that it took me about a year. I started OnlyFans in lockdown whilst transitioning, because I am a living stereotype. And I had my student loan to pay bills, so I didn't really need to pay bills. I could just save that money, and I saved all of that money for an apartment when I finished uni, and then I could be self-sufficient after that. I realized I can afford rent and I can afford future rent. This is amazing. It took me about a year, I would say. I started in 2020 and it's 2022 now. So I would say about halfway through, about 6 to 9 months in, I realized that this was more than enough money to take seriously. How many hours do you spend making content, and would you recommend OF as a side hustle? Oh, I spend quite a lot of time making content. I spend a random amount of time. It can be anywhere from 20 minutes one day where I just have nice makeup and I want to take pictures, to several hours. And then on top of that, I have to edit the content, and I have to make sure it looks really good and put it together and make separate promotional content. And yeah, it can take ages. It can take a really long time. It can take you all day, basically. Say you have to do your makeup, so you start at 11 and then you finish 3-4 o'clock, and sometimes you can have lunch, a late lunch, and then either make more content or edit and do something else related. I spend a long time doing OnlyFans stuff. Besides actually making content, you have to reply to people and reply to all their messages, and that takes ages too. Would I recommend it as a side hustle? Yeah, why not? It's the same as selling things on eBay or Amazon, or making TikTok videos for money, or making YouTube videos. You get out what you put in, and It could be really fun, and there's nothing to dissuade you. I have no reason to dissuade you from doing it. If you think you can handle what comes with it, all of the work, it can be tough, like having to be sexual all the time, but if you think you can handle it and it's fun, yeah, do it as a hobby, you know? Why not? Do it as a side hustle. Do you think that it's possible to create for you mostly sub-content and maybe aimed at women? I don't know about the sub-content. There is a niche for everything, everywhere, basically. Like, you can do whatever you want and there will be someone who wants it. But marketing your content only for women, you're not going to earn as much money as you possibly could. That's kind of just the way it goes. There's a lot of male subscribers, and if you limit yourself to only female content, you're limiting your potential income. But if that's what you want, then yeah, that's perfect, and you should do that. Your thoughts on men with small penises? How do you get popular enough on Onlyfans to have a reliable income? How do you get popular on anything, really? It's the quality of the content that you put out, a little bit of luck. You know, you have to have that mass appeal so you can get all those subscribers and make it like a reliable income. Just make sure you're putting out really good content that you personally would want to see, and content that is professional looking. You know, it doesn't have to be crazy. It can be a mirror selfie, but as long as the lighting is good, the positioning is good, it's sexy, then that will do great and you will get subscribers. Just start slow. You can't expect success immediately. You have to build, you know, you're a small business and you're just starting out. Free page sounds like a bad idea. Like, everyone would be pissed with pay-per-view. Ever tried it? I have not tried a free page, but I know that a lot of top creators have a free page. For me, it seems like a lot of work, and the idea with a free page is it's free to subscribe to it, but all the content that isn't like lewd or promotional will be locked and you have to pay for it. Whereas on a regular account, all the content is there except for optional pay-per-view or extra content that you might want. I think personally, people are going to be mad about a pay-per-view no matter what. I offer pay-per-views on my account, and some people get mad sometimes. I don't offer them a lot. I offer them about once a week, and they're optional and affordable. And, you know, they're essential to actually having a healthy income. But people are going to be pissy. But if you subscribe to a free account, you have to expect them, because they're not going to give you the content for free. Sorry. Safety precautions. I'm going to make a new email. Do I need a VPN? Yeah, why not? Like, be as safe as you want to be, or alternatively be as unsafe as you want to be. Get a VPN, make a new email, don't use your real name, only use your first name. Ashley is my real name, but I don't use my last name, just my first name for safety. And don't tell people where you live. Don't really tell people anything too descriptive about your family or your area, or just be safe, you know, like normal standard online safety rules apply. But in terms of income and stuff, maybe use a separate bank account and use a VPN, and definitely have two-factor authentication on, so you know you're not going to get hacked or lose that income. How do I get my first subscribers? Yeah, it's very hard. The first is always the most daunting, but they will happen eventually. Just make good content you want to see. Remember that you're reaching a stranger, not somebody that knows you, so you have to sell yourself as like a whole package. They're not going to think that a blurry, you know, shot in the dark nude of you is very sexy, because they don't know you. Whereas you need to make something eye-catching, and then when they know you and get to know you, you can make something a bit more like personal to you. Like, you can make a bit more artsy, you can make a bit more sensual. But to start with, definitely just focus on the complete visual aspect of the job and try to be professional. Treat it as a business. What is OF? That's deep. I don't know. I think it's a porn website. Although there is cooking, so, you know, could be a cooking website. I have tons of cues. Is it time consuming? What's the income like at top 1%? What's your number one advice? Yes, it's time consuming. Very time consuming. Takes up all of my life, basically. You know, I'm polyamorous. I have 2 partners. One of my partners lives 3 hours away from me, and I have to limit the amount that I see them, because I have to come back and do my work and answer messages and talk to people and film specific videos for people that they've paid for, or just do something that I can't do when I'm visiting. So yeah, it takes up a lot of time, and I'm busy all the time. What's the income like at the top 1%? I don't want to be specific, but yeah, it's a lot. As you would expect, it is the top 1%. I don't really want to get any more specific than that. It doesn't make me feel very comfortable. But you are well looked after and healthy if you're at the top 1%. What's my number one advice? My number one advice is do not undercharge people. Do not undersell yourself. I see people who charge $5 for a subscription, or $3, or $6, or like $8. Why? Like, you can charge $6 if you put $6 worth of effort in. But if you're uploading every day, almost every day, multiple times a week, like full-length videos, like real hardcore porn videos, like horrible mother ashamed of you disgusting videos, why are you charging $6 for that? You can charge so much more for that, because at the end of the day, you are a product, but you're also a person. And what is your personal worth? I would not send a nude to somebody for $1. I would not send one for $3. I would not send 500 for $8. I don't think that's worth it. You also have to take into account Onlyfans platform fees, 20% of everything you earn. For me, there's conversion fees. There are taxes. You have to pay 20%, sometimes 40% on your taxes, at least in the UK anyway. And you have to incorporate all of that. There's makeup costs, rent, all those things are tax deductible. So all those things rely on your income. So if you're charging a small amount, you're earning nothing. You're going to earn very little. After platform fees alone, if you're charging $6, you make like a couple of dollars. I don't see that as worth it, because one of the main draws of OnlyFans is they get to talk to you. And although they get your nudes, which is great, they get your time and energy. And that's way more important. And I think that people should stop underselling themselves, definitely. I understand you can't charge $20 if you just start. I'm pretty sure I charged $12 when I first started, but you can change your prices as you upload content, or you could upload a bulk content and then charge $20. For me, $20, I know it's a lot, but I'm worth it for a start. And it's the only feasible amount I can charge where it's worth it to me after all of those fees. So yeah, don't undersell yourself. Charge a good amount. Especially if you're trans. Like if you're cis and if you're a cis girl and everyone you know is making content, maybe you could charge a little less because the market's quite saturated. But if you're trans, you're like a golden orb, you're like a precious mineral. There are not very many professional trans creators, and if you think you're doing something really good, you should charge people to reflect that. You are rare, and there is demand for you, and with demand comes a tiny little bit of price gouging. How is the fun/stress balance? Yeah, I don't know. It can be kind of more stressful than it is fun sometimes, because like I said, it's a ton of work, and it can be really easy to always try to better yourself. So you want to do better every single month, and that's really stressful, and you don't want to be doing that. If you're really good at thinking of the big picture, like maybe this month sucks, but overall I'm earning really well. I'm really bad at that. I can't do big picture. I focus month to month. So for me, it could be super stressful. Whereas if you think like that, maybe it'll be chill and you'll be having more fun than stress. But a lot of the time it can be stressful. And if you get people coming on and they're complaining, or they're trying to get a refund, or that doesn't happen very much, at least not to me. It happens very, very rarely. For me, the only time I get people actively complaining is if I lower my price to $10, like say with a sale, I do a 50% off. Those people will come in and they didn't really want to spend the money in the first place, but they're here now and they're mad about it. And they'll always try and get that money back or complain about something because they didn't really want to spend it in the first place. Apart from those things, you're making yourself feel good. Your body is worth something. You get to take all these really lovely photos of yourself and you get praise, and sometimes people tip you and it's really nice, and that could be really fun. Obviously, the income also helps you to have fun if you are succeeding at it. But I would say it can be quite a lot of stress. How many hours a week do you spend working? Any work related to Earth all my work is related to OF, and I spend many hours to not very many hours. It depends on how much bulk content I created at the time. I probably spend, I don't know, most of my day, every day, doing something related to OF. But then there are days like today where I spent most of my day doing this video. But then I still would have to do my morning messages, my evening messages, editing and uploading content tonight, like this evening. That doesn't stop, and I have to remember to do that, and I can't really take a break. The longest break I had, I think I already said, was 5 days, and I replied to messages, and I also did promotional content. I didn't really take a break at all. I just didn't post, and I didn't record private videos for people. So yeah, it's a lot. To summarize, it's a lot of hours, but it can be less if you want it to be less. And if you want to earn less and you don't really care particularly about earning and you're just doing it for fun, it can be not very many hours. But I would say anybody in the 1% and lower than the 1%, yeah, it's every day. How does being a successful sex worker affect your relationship with your sexual needs? This is a great question. Poorly. There are times where I don't want anything sexual to happen at all. I don't want to be near it. I don't want to be around it because I get burnt out basically. But that can happen with all things. If you turn your hobby, not that this is my hobby, but if you turn your hobby into your job, you get burnout. For example, I also make comic books. They're published. It's called Space Lady. You should read it. Link below. And I love making comics, and that is a hobby turned sort of career. And yeah, I get burnt out on that massively. I still love reading them, but I don't make them as much for fun because because I have to make them now for profit. And you see that all the time with stuff, and this is no different. If you're always sexual and people always sexualize you, you're gonna get burnt out and you're gonna need a break and you're gonna not want any kind of sexual thing to ever happen. But you get back to it. You're human. You get horny. Did you previously have a big following on the internet, and if not, how did you build your OF? I didn't. I built my Onlyfans on Reddit. That's where I promoted when I first started, and I also built an Instagram separately, just myself, not for sex work. I merged the two, so I revealed that I had an Onlyfans on my Instagram when I hit about 10k Instagram followers, which is not a small amount. So I did not rely on my Instagram to get subs. I started from 0 on Reddit and kind of worked my way up. And yeah, you can definitely do that. Obviously, as you know, the two things are now intertwined. That's probably how you know me. I promote on my Instagram all the time. But to start with, I definitely didn't have a platform, and I kind of built the two at the same time. If you had one tip for beginners, what would it be? So I already said the one about charging fairly. That would be my main tip. But a separate one would be, do not get pushed around. It's your platform, it's your rules. You decide. Don't do anything you're not comfortable with. Don't do anything if you don't want to, even a little bit. You're the boss. And, they will have to listen to you, and they'll have to live with it. Don't get manipulated in any kind of way. Don't get too close, Always make sure there is that boundary of, this is a job. As much as we're having fun and this is really fun and I'm so glad you're here, you don't really know me in real life, and you have to respect that. Most people respect it on their own. People are really, really good at understanding those boundaries, but sometimes it can get a little bit blurry. You have to just kind of put your foot down in that. Just tread carefully. How did you start? What got you interested in this form of work? Well, I was mega broke. It was lockdown. I didn't have a job. I had £30 in my bank account. I hate jobs. I get super anxious, and it ruins my entire day whenever I had to go to a 9-to-5 kind of job. Seeing people interacting, being put on the spot was really anxiety inducing. At the time, it was pre-transition. Like I said, I transitioned in lockdown, like the stereotype that I am, and I also opened an Onlyfans. Another breakdown about that. So yeah, it started from there, and it was kind of just, I was exploring my gender, and I also explored this. I thought, maybe I could make some money from it. It was a fun outlet for me at the time, and then it started to earn money, and I was like, okay, I could take this seriously. And then I decided to take it seriously. And here we are today. How does it feel to be so good damn sexy? Feels great. What were unexpected things about OF, good or bad? Unexpected good. the income. Nobody expects that kind of income. You hear about it, but you don't think that it could really happen, and that's really exciting, and you know, I'm very grateful. The bad, I didn't know that it would affect me in my relationship with others so much. I didn't really expect the burnout of like, you know, anything sexual being like a bit off-putting sometimes because I have to work so much. But apart from that, there aren't really many bad things. Like, maybe one of the worst is kind of the stress that you could underperform next month and this title could be taken away from you. You know, you could drop significantly to like the top 10%. You know, people could just stop caring, and that's stressful. Nobody wants that. I want to be cared about. Do you have to pay a shit ton of taxes? Kinda. No, because in the UK, if you earn a certain amount of money, it's really smart to start a limited company, and that's what I did, and it took a lot of money to start it, and it's still in the process of starting, but having a limited company means that the company earns a certain amount of money and pays corporation tax, which is significantly lower than the 3 tax brackets in the UK. I think corporation tax is 19% and the lowest in the UK is 20%, but you would be paying 40 to 45% for a top 1% income. So the business earns the majority of the money and it pays corporation tax, and then I get paid a wage from the business and I pay income tax on that, which is, you know, around 20% to 40% depending on how much I pay myself. And yeah, so I kind of like, I don't avoid the taxes, but I reduce them. If I was to just remain self-employed, then yeah, I would pay a shit ton of taxes. How to not get burnt out. I've managed to get sub 20%. I take a break, then lose 90% of subs. Yeah, I kind of already mentioned this. You can't really take a break. If you take a break, you're going to lose subscribers. So you can take a break from making content if you bulk make your content, but you still have to upload it. You can even set it to upload automatically if you just plan everything out. But you know, you still have to reply to messages, or people are going to unsub. You still have to like give people like their money's worth, or they might try and do a charge back. You still have to promote online so you can actually get that traction and keep gaining subscribers. You know, not everybody wants to stay subscribed. They just want to be there for a month, get the content and then leave. Maybe they can't afford it, maybe they aren't interested. But you have to make sure that you try and get people to stay, and the people that are there, you make sure you're giving them a good enough experience that it's worth the money and it's actually worth staying subscribed every month. So the best way to avoid burnout really would be, you know, make a bulk load of content and then make it upload automatically, and check your messages once a day and promote once a day, and then leave it out of your mind for a week maybe, and then you can focus on it more. But you can't really stop, you can't really put it down and leave it, because yeah, you will lose 90% of your subscribers. Biggest downside to being a top creator, I don't know, probably the stress of, you know, like I said earlier, the stress of not doing as well as last month, or the stress that maybe people will stop being interested, or the stress that the economy is so bad that no one's going to buy your subscription. But you know, there's a bigger picture to all this stuff, and me having a stupid, anxious brain, you know, it's kind of my specific problem. I'm sure most people won't even care, you know, like half of what I make is great, and if I drop that much, then I'll still be happy. How would you suggest someone starts getting subs? Make good professional content. Make content that you would look at and go, wow, that's amazing. Make sure it's very visual, so, you know, not blurry. As long as, you know, it's posed well and there's good lighting and it's sexy, then yeah, you'll get subs eventually. Make sure that your price actually matches your content. So I know I said you shouldn't undersell yourself, but you should be realistic about, is my content actually worth this much money? And it should be. Your promotional content should be just as good as the content you upload. It should just be less of it. You will get subs eventually if you just keep at it. And if it's been a really long time and you're not getting subscribers, something needs to change. So the content, or the camera, or yeah, I don't know, maybe your creative eye needs to change a little bit, and you need to just see what other people are doing and how you can replicate that in your own way. Is it worth starting, and how to approach it cautiously, if so? Yeah, I don't know. Again, like, I have no reason to dissuade anyone from doing it. It's not as easy as people think, but, you know, just go for it. Why not? If that's what you're interested in, you can do it. It's the same as any other job. How to approach it cautiously? Yeah, like I said, like separate bank account, VPN, like two-factor authentication. You could be faceless. You will limit the amount of income you make for sure, but you know, some people don't care, and some people don't really care about income. They just want to do this for fun. New accounts, no real name, no location, no family, no friends. You can even geo-block. You can block your country. How do you structure your day? Okay, I wake up, I answer messages, I get out of bed and, you know, do my routine, have breakfast, do makeup, then I make content. This is like an average working day. Like some days if I have bad mental health or I'm busy, I'll do other things. But on a day where I have to work, this is what I do. After making the content, I have lunch, probably, depending on what time it is. It will usually be a late lunch. And then I do something else with my day. And then I'll edit in the evening and reply to more messages and like see how my promotion's doing, think about tomorrow and what I'm going to do. How long did it take to get to top 1%? 2 years, roughly, ish. I don't know. I've been doing this for like 2 years, so let's just say 2 years. It can take a while. If you have clout, it will take no time at all. Like celebrities will get there instantly, but for an average person, which I am, yeah, the thing that shifted me from 5% to 1% was I started doing fully nude promotional images. I went from lewd and like suggestive to actually nude, so I had to kind of commit, and that was difficult because giving away your content for free seems counterintuitive, but actually you get more reach because there are a certain amount of people who are never going to subscribe, but you know, they'll look at your porn happily for free. So if you give them a little bit, they'll be happy and it will push your reach up to the people that are willing to pay and do want to see more, or maybe just like you as a person and want to support you. Okay, that's everything. Thank you very much for them. They were great. Hopefully that gave you a bit more of a realistic view into the top 1% of OnlyFans, you know, like I'm not like some crazy celebrity or anything. I'm just a person and I made it, so it's definitely possible. If you want me to make another video on this topic or just on the topic of like having OnlyFans as my job, having Instagram be a part of that, like being a social media presence, you know, being at home all the time, like anything, put it in the comments and I'll see what I can do. And hopefully you watch more videos that I make when I make them. Please watch them because I need validation and these are really fun, but I can't do them without validation. Thank you.